day everyone! So I am Vanessa Esalva and I am here to tackle about homeschool and distance learning. When making a decision to a family to do school from home, homeschool and distance learning are your two main options. Some families do a combination of the two options, picking and choosing some classes homeschool style and other online, while other families prefer to go all in a way, one way or the other. At first glance, homeschooling and distance learning might seem very similar, but the major difference is who is delivering and managing that content. With homeschooling, the parent or caregiver is the person who teaches and delivers the content. With distance learning, an online teacher teaches and delivers the content. Pros of homeschooling. Family bonding. Homeschooling offers an incredible opportunities for families to bond and have shared experiences as parents get to teach their children everything and even plan educational field trips or family vacations. It is also allow parents to build family bonding time into their schedule. For example, if one parent works an odd shift and is only home during the typical school day, family can build their school day around that schedule. So I have here the types of pros. So number one is control of content. Whether you want to weave faith-based conversation into every lesson or have strong belief about how to teach science, you have control of the lesson and the information your child receives. This is also particularly helpful if your child has been through trauma such as sexual assault or recent death of a close family member. Second, flexibility. Because you get to completely choose your schedule, you have incredible flexibility. Even though online schooling offers flexibility, students are still tied to deadlines, the general school year schedule, and sometimes even live lectures. With homeschooling, you can control when your kids learn, so they're not stressed about completing work while on vacation. For example, this is great for families that like to take vacation during the traditional school year and for families who celebrate holidays that aren't recognized by most schools. Flexibility can make the whole day flow much more smoothly as well, as students can take more time on concepts they're interested, or they can start their school day later if the family decided to have an impromptu breakfast outing, for example. Individualized instruction. Number 3. For students who struggle to learn, homeschooling allows parents to tailor their instruction to the way their child learns best. Even for students who don't typically struggle, this helps the school day be completed more efficiently, thus taking up less time. The fourth one, interest-driven. Students and parents can work together to cover topics and create elective courses that are tailored to their interests. For example, if a student loves The Lord of the Rings, parents can work that into the curriculum to teach reading, writing, and speaking skills. Number 5 is rigor of curriculum. One of the main reasons families decide to homeschool is because they are not satisfied with their public and private school options. Parents can make homeschool curriculum as rigorous as they want, all the while ensuring their child's needs are being met. Cons of homeschooling.
Number 1 is workload for parents. Workload for parents. Homeschooling can be very time-consuming and stressful for parents. It takes time to plan lessons, put together materials, and teach students. Just like teachers, parents may end up putting in extra work outside the school day. Parents might also find that homeschooling takes more time and effort than they thought, leaving them stressed and potentially even cutting corners.
Number 2, organization. Homeschooling requires a lot of physical and mental organization. You need uncluttered space for your kids to keep their materials and for you to teach them every day. You also need to organize and plan out your day to create a routine for your kids. Some people find this level of organization difficult. Cost. Number 3 is cost. The cost of curriculum itself can be expensive. And then, you need to add on the cost materials and educational trips. Homeschooling could also mean that one parent needs to stop working or cut down on hours, which can make the cost burden ever higher. Number 4, lack of regulation. Lack of regulation sounds like a benefit to some families who choose to homeschool to have more freedom for themselves and their kids. However, in states that have very relaxed regulation for homeschool students, it's easier for students to fall behind or even get no education at all. So that's the end of homeschooling. So let's move to distance learning. So the pros of distance learning. So number 1, licensed teacher. While many homeschool parents do an excellent job teaching their kids, some parents feel more comfortable knowing their kids are being taught by a licensed teacher who has been trained to educate students. Number 2 is cost. The cost of an online school tends to be much cheaper than homeschooling, and online public schools are free, meaning you can keep your kids at home to learn without the financial burden of homeschooling. Number 3 is independence. Students who crave independence from their parents find that they have much more independence in homeschooling, where their parents aren't involved in every aspect of their schooling. Number 4, requirements are covered. Depending on where you live, there may be state standards that need to be met, and students might also be required to take standardized tests even if they don't attend a public school. Number 5, less time consuming for parents. Parents who have other responsibilities often find that they have more time on their hands when their children take their classes online. This doesn't mean you can still help your kids and be involved, but frees up much of your time when compared to homeschooling. Number 6 is special services. Well, you can tailor learning to your child with homeschooling. An online public school has specialists on staff that are trained to help students with learning disabilities. And number 7, AP classes. Any student can take an AP exam even if he or she didn't take an AP courses. But it often takes extensive study to prepare students to do well on the exams. Online schools often offer a variety of AP classes for students to choose from. So that's all for the pros of distance learning. So let's proceed to the cons of distance learning. So number 1 is more stationary learning. There often aren't as many opportunities for real-life experiential learning. A large portion of students' learning is done sitting in a chair, while homeschool learning can happen anywhere. Science lab, for example, often leave a much stronger impression when students can do them hands-on rather than by watching video or participating in an interactive tutorial online. More screen time. Full-time school online requires a lot of screen time to attend classes, read materials, watch videos, complete assignment, and etc. School can easily require 2 or 3 more times in front of screen than their parents would like. Focus. It can be difficult to get young kids to focus on online learning for an extended period of time. While homeschooling parents can switch between topics and activities, often to hold short attention spans, it's harder to accomplish this with online learning. Lessons aren't individualized. Distance learning lessons are more generalized, so teachers can reach an entire class of students. While teacher will be available to help and answer questions, lessons aren't tailored to each individual students as they can be in homeschooling. Academic integrity. Especially if students complete their lessons, unsupervised academic integrity can be a major issue. With students searching for an answer online or using unauthorized materials like a calculator for math or a translator for foreign language classes. 1. Internet connection. Most of people have access to strong and fast internet connections today, but online learning can obviously be very difficult and stressful for students who have to deal with slow or unreliable connections. So, many families choose to do a combination of homeschooling and distance learning, but they often to find their base in one of the other. Examine the pros and cons of each to determine which styles fit best with your family dynamic. Once you start off with one, you can always switch to the other or combine the two to create a mixed education that makes both you and your children happy. And that's all. Thank you for watching.